Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's starting to sprinkle outside, so we don't want our illustrious graduates to get wet. So officially, good morning. And welcome to the School of Education Pre-commencement ceremony. I am Dr. Karen Hall, Assistant Professor in Educational Leadership in the School of Education. I will serve as the announcer this morning. Please remain seated during the processional. It is my honor to introduce program directors, our speaker, Dr. Ian Buchanan, Father O'Dwyer, deans of the School of Education, and our faculty. It is now my honor to introduce the graduating class of 2024. I would like to welcome Father Ronnie O'Dwyer of the Society of Jesus to offer our invocation.
As we begin this morning, let's just take a moment and look around, noticing these awesome windows. They're completed by an artist called Emil Fry, and they're considered some of the finest stained glass in the country. Education and these windows share a common feature. They integrate three very simple languages: the language of the mind, of the heart, and of the hands, and the colors blend together to form a coherent glass. Let us pause for a moment to acknowledge that we celebrate this commencement at a time of incoherence in many places in our world, especially those places that religious traditions call most holy. Let us pray. Lord, you are our teacher par excellence, and you call these graduates to educate patterned on your own pedagogy of accompaniment. And so, God, our teacher, bless this moment. And in doing so, bless all that this moment represents: the labor and the toil of study, the gratitude we have for this distinguished faculty and staff and all others who have supported us on this journey. And perhaps most importantly, Lord, let this ceremony be a festival of gratitude for the vocation that we have received, to join you in the work of liberation, helping all people to see one another the way you see them, in your own image and likeness, sent forth to teach all nations. Amen.
Please be seated. It is now my privilege to introduce the members of the stage party. In the back row, Dr. Jody Wood, Program Director and Associate Professor of Educational Leadership. Dr. Mark Poussin, Program Director and Associate Professor of Higher Education Administration. Dr. Karen Tickey, Director of Catholic Educational Leadership Programs and Assistant Professor of Educational Leadership. Dr. John James Reeder, Professor of Educational Leadership. Dr. Catherine Mitchell-Pierce, Reeder, Program Director and Associate Professor of Educational Studies. In the front row, Dr. Gary W. Ritter, Dean of School of Education. Dr. Ian Buchanan, CEO of NIA Education Group. Dr. Molly Schaller, Associate Dean of the School of Education. Father Ronnie O'Dwyer, President of De Smet Jesuit High School. I would like to invite Dr. Gary Ritter, Dean of the School of Education, to the podium.
Good morning. I'm sure some of you are a bit nervous. I certainly am. We were in a rush to get here. We hoped everything would go off all right. We hoped it wouldn't be rained on. Please, let's take a deep breath and just appreciate where we are. We have a full house. We have so many joyful faces to celebrate the great work of our graduates. I'll share with you that I really feel grateful to be standing here and looking out at this crowd. What a great day. And so we'll begin formally. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the pre-commencement ceremony for the School of Education. The tradition of pre-commencement is one where we, together as a School of Education community, recognize all of our students earning bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degrees. Graduates, you know this, we are here to celebrate you. We are here to acknowledge your hard work and your perseverance. Of course, we say something along these lines each and every year, but after all you have done to push through these last few years and graduate in 2024, your grit and your perseverance were truly on display as you completed your studies. In fact, as many of you know, this year's bachelor's graduating class entered in the fall of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. That means many of you did not have an opportunity to celebrate your high school graduation in spring of 2020, thanks to the pandemic. So we are especially thrilled to be here celebrating in person with you today. Indeed, for all of our students, this is a day to celebrate and to look forward. After multiple challenging years during the pandemic and post-pandemic, you are now called to live out the mission and values of St. Louis University in all that you do moving forward. At SLU and in the School of Education, our goal is to help you discern your personal gifts and build upon your strengths so that you are a better version of yourself today than you were when you entered St. Louis University. As a Jesuit institution, we also want to do more than that. We don't only want to build and discover the best version of you, we also urge you to figure out how to use your gifts, your many gifts, for the betterment of our neighborhoods, our community, and our world. This is your responsibility, and it is your privilege as a graduate of a Jesuit institution. And now, here you sit ready to take the next step. You have worked diligently to get to this point. Your degree, the degree that you have earned, is a big deal. And your degree from St. Louis University, a world-class Jesuit institution, is an even bigger deal. Congratulations. Of course, few of you would have made it this far without your own networks and your own communities. To all of the family members and friends of the graduates, we know that you have played a critically important role in their success. In fact, I know that many of you in this room today are proud parents of Billiken graduates. I too am a Billiken parent myself 2 times, so I know exactly how happy and how proud you feel. We are so pleased to be here celebrating with you. So let's get started. Let's get celebrating. We're going to get our program started this morning with our terrific keynote speaker. We are extraordinarily lucky today to be joined by an innovative and energetic and dedicated educational leader who has been working for years to support students and educators in our city and our region, Dr. Ian Buchanan. Dr. Hall, will you do the honors and formally introduce Dr. Buchanan?
It is such an honor, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce our keynote this morning. A native of East St. Louis, Illinois, Dr. Ian Buchanan is committed to servant leadership and interrupting inequity. He currently serves as CEO of NIA Education Group, a coaching and consulting firm dedicated to helping great leaders become their greatest leadership selves. In addition, Dr. Buchanan is the author of the best-selling book, King, a 4-part leadership framework for Black men. Most recently, he has assumed the role of education chair for the St. Louis City NAACP chapter, leading a region-wide literacy campaign, The Right to Read. Prior to founding NIA Education Group, Dr. Buchanan served as Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Chief Academic Officer, in the School District of University City in Missouri. Before his first 5-year tenure in University City, Buchanan served as founding director of strategic partnerships for the Achievement School District in Memphis, Tennessee, a state-sponsored all-charter school district. Over a span of more than 2 decades, Dr. Buchanan has served in a number of teaching roles at the K-12, adult basic education, undergraduate, and graduate levels. He also spent more than a decade in school leadership roles at the elementary and middle school levels. Along with the K-12 teaching and leadership experience, Buchanan also has served as an HBCU admissions officer, National Science Foundation Fellow, and Teach for America Managing Director. Dr. Buchanan has received numerous awards and recognitions, including the Missouri Association of Secondary School Principals Consummate Professional of the Year Award, the St. Louis American Salute to Excellence in Education Award, and the Teach for America Principal of the Year Award. He is highly regarded around the country for his passion and commitment to empowering our communities. Ian Buchanan and his wife, Carmen, have one daughter, Nia, an HBCU graduate and educator. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Ian Buchanan.
Thank you. That was a great introduction, by the way. I was like, who is that guy? Greetings and good morning to you. It is such an honor to be with you today as we celebrate this momentous occasion. Thank you to the St. Louis University School of Education faculty and staff under the leadership of Dean Ritter for this great opportunity. Before I share my brief message with you today, I want to do a few things. First, I want to honor one of the most important groups in the room, the grandparents of the graduates. So if you are a grandparent of a graduate, please wave your hand, take a bow, let us see you. We are so grateful for how you have graced and enriched our lives. So we honor you today and always. And parents, hello. The second thing I want to do is acknowledge the real MVPs. And those are the 143 graduates here today. Yes. We see you. We see your persistence. We see your sacrifices. And we see your love for the noble career path that you have chosen. Cheers to you all. Now give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, graduates, we can do better than that. Finally, I want to address the elephant in the room. I am the barrier. I am the barrier between you and your caps being thrown in the air, metaphorically, of course. I'm the barrier between you and your hugs from your loved ones. And I'm the barrier between you and those Crocs that you're waiting to put on because I know your feet are killing you. So because I believe in eliminating barriers, especially because I am the barrier today, I'm going to follow commencement speech rule 101, and that is the KISS rule. Keep it super short. In the short time that I have with you today, I want to share 2 recommendations. If you take these recommendations to heart and operationalize them, your world will be much brighter, the impact you have will be much greater, and most of all, your stress level will be lower. My first recommendation is that you prioritize and catalyze what physicists call escape velocity. Second, you must prioritize the 7 ways to rest and restore. Escape velocity. I spent 5 years in Mizzou's industrial engineering program in the early 90s, and I'll be very honest with you, there's not a whole lot that I remember. However, a concept that I learned in engineering physics in the 90s is one that has always stuck with me. And what I'm suggesting today is that this concept can serve as a metaphor that speaks to the role that educators must play with those we serve, specifically those from historically marginalized and/or under-resourced populations. Physicists define escape velocity as the minimum speed needed for an object to break free from the gravitational pull of a primary celestial body. The concept of escape velocity, though, applies beyond physics, as it serves as a metaphor we should reflect on, as it symbolizes the inordinate strength it takes for an object or a person, a group, a race, a gender, a caste, to fully break free from societal constraints, limitations, and impediments. Said differently, escape velocity is the Herculean effort it takes to do what the late Tupac Shakur referred to as being the rose that grows from the concrete. As part of St. Louis University's mission, the university commits to playing a role in eliminating a specific trio of societal ills: poverty, injustice, and hunger. If these ills don't represent today's concrete, I don't know what does. If these ills don't represent an almost insurmountable collection of gravitational forces, gravitational pulls, I'm not sure what does. Graduates, the reality is that some of those we serve will be impacted by these societal and environmental gravitational forces and gravitational pulls. And these pulls make flourishing much more challenging and much more difficult. However, many of the forces can be overcome, and those we serve can reach altitudes some wouldn't believe is possible. I charge you, graduates, with serving in a way that helps those that you serve reach and even exceed their escape velocity so they can live the full, joyful, beautiful lives they so deserve. Graduates, as many of you know, another reality is that education work and servant work in general can be sometimes challenging, exhausting, and frustrating. Since we're in church, can I get an amen? Amen. This brings me to the second and final point I want to make this morning. In order to help those we serve achieve escape velocity, we must prioritize self-care. That is, we must put our metaphorical oxygen mask on first. Specifically, we need to prioritize what I like to call premium gas, and that is rest and restoration. The great Toni Morrison encouraged us to use rest to reclaim, refocus, and recenter yourself. Rest because you deserve to rest with no excuses needed. There is no way we can super serve those we are committed to, and there's no way we can help them achieve escape velocity without first prioritizing rest and restoration. Physicist and researcher Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith argues that human beings must prioritize rest and restoration in 7 specific areas. And as I mention these brief categories as I come to a close, I want you to consider 2 essential questions. 1, which of these types of rest and restoration do I need now? And then the second question is, if I'm going to sustain my ability to serve, which forms of premium gas or rest and restoration will I need to ensure that I have over the long haul, especially during my most challenging moments? And those 7 are physical restoration, which may include walking, stretching, or yoga. Mental restoration, brain breaks, silence, journaling, and mindfulness. Emotional breaks, emotional rest and restoration, expressing your feelings and therapy. Social rest and restoration, spending time with people who fill your cup. Sensory restoration, and this is so important for this generation, unplugging from computer screens and disconnecting from social media. Let me say that one more time. Disconnecting from social media. Creative, working on a passion project or engaging with the arts. And then finally, spiritual rest or restoration, praying, meditation, and displaying gratitude. Graduates, my time is coming to an end. I know your feet are hurting and you're ready to put on those Crocs. And so I'll just leave you with 3 closing points. When the world's gravitational forces of inequity and injustice are at play, you must take it to the next level. That is the escape velocity level for yourself and those you serve. They deserve it, you deserve it. Agency, point 2, agency is real and you have it, as evidenced by the great accomplishment that we see today. Use your agency and your privilege to do good and to make good trouble. Super serve those disproportionately impacted by poverty, injustice, and hunger. And then finally, use premium gas only. You must prioritize rest and restoration. Do what makes you well, do what makes you whole, do what makes you happy, do what gives you joy. Once again, graduates, congratulations and well wishes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Buchanan, for your wise and inspirational words. So I am happy to introduce now Associate Dean Dr. Molly Schaller will now present the Alumni Merit Award and Student Awards.
Allow me to add my appreciation to Dr. Buchanan. I feel like this is one of the best restorative activities we could engage in, right? Graduates, doesn't this feel good? Maybe we should do this every week. Maybe. It really is our great pleasure to recognize the School of Education's 2024 Alumni Merit Award recipient, Dr. Flint Fowler. Dr. Fowler earned his PhD in higher education in 1997. He is the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater St. Louis. In his 28 years with the club, he's opened 10 new sites, expanded programs into city and St. Louis County schools, and diversified the club's programs. Dr. Fowler is the recipient of several other awards, including the St. Louis Children's Hospital Advocacy Award in 2007 and the Ernest A. Callaway Jr. Distinguished Service Award presented by the St. Louis University Black Alumni Association, also in 2007. The St. Louis American newspaper recognized Dr. Fowler as its not-for-profit Executive of the Year in 2009, and in 2010, he was awarded the Heart and Soul Award by the Midwest region of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. He is a 2012 recipient of the Diversity Leadership Award from the St. Louis Business Journal and received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the St. Louis Gateway Classic Foundation. As exemplified by his work and incredible community involvement, Dr. Fowler follows true to the Jesuit mission of men and women with and for others, standing side by side with children, teens, adults, and those in need. Dr. Fowler uses his passion in our community to ignite change and create opportunities for every person to reach their potential. He truly is an example of outstanding leadership and commitment to a nonprofit mission. Dr. Fowler cannot be with us here today, but we will be honoring him with this award later in the week, and we're so pleased to call him an alumnus of St. Louis University School of Education. It is now my pleasure to award 4 students with awards for their contributions to the School of Education. The students will receive their awards when they come up later to get their diplomas. So when I announce your name, if you would just stand and wave, and we'll honor you with gazes and applause. Each year, the School of Education selects an undergraduate student who best exemplifies the vision and mission of the school to receive the Gilsonan Award. The Gilsonan Award was named in honor of Dr. James F. Gilsonan, the first dean of the school. This year, the school has selected Patrick McGinnis. Patrick's nominator shared that I've enjoyed observing Patrick as he grows into an exceptional elementary educator. He is kind and respectful to all his students and has a clear vision of what a great teacher can do in a classroom. He has the dream and the courage to take action and follow through, to make anything possible for himself and his students. Patrick is driven to excellence and modest about his amazing teaching talents. He is educating, guiding, and transforming individuals and communities through his teaching and carries out the mission of St. Louis University wherever he goes. Congratulations, Patrick. The Handgartner Award is awarded to a student who demonstrates a higher presence and leadership in education. This award is presented to an undergraduate student who exemplifies scholarship, leadership, and service. This year's Handgartner Award is presented to Shalea Vaughn. Lay's family all have T-shirts on with her name, so if you can't figure out where she is later on, they'll be the people with the T-shirt. Lay's nominator wrote, "She has blown me away with her positive attitude and her ambition to learn throughout her 4 years in the School of Education. Lay is a leader among her peers, and many ask for her guidance and support. She's an outstanding and kind student who was a student ambassador while maintaining a very high grade point average. Lay has created strong relationships with her students and cooperating educator during her year-long internship this year, and is making a difference in the lives of students, peers, and colleagues. She exemplifies St. Louis University's ideals of scholarship, leadership, and service." Congratulations, Lay. The school has also selected 2 graduate students whose actions exemplify the ideals set forth in the mission of the school. These two students are the recipients of the J.J. O'Brien Award. Our first recipient is Beth Burrow. Beth's nominator wrote, "Beth is a multi-talented educator and has extremely strong expertise in 2 content areas: world language, German, and English, and in educational technology. Like JJ, Beth is a quiet leader. When she speaks or writes, an incredible amount of meaning and value is conveyed, often in far fewer words, whether spoken or written, than anyone else would take. Like JJ, Beth is a synthesizer. She has a unique ability to tailor, seemingly automatically, her content and communication to what a person or a group needs at a specific time to address a specific need. Congratulations, Beth. Our second J.J. O'Brien Award recipient is Mirtha Alice Peralta. Alice currently serves as the president of St. John's College in Belize City, Belize. Her nominator shared, it's going to be hard for you to figure out who this comes from, Alice. I've known Alice for over 10 years. Many years ago, she came to St. Louis University and asked for our help. She knew we could be partners for life in getting the much-needed special education resources to the educators of Belize. Alice sees the need to help all students in Belize and is a true visionary and leader. We've had many meetings where we dreamed big, and this summer, one of Alice's big dreams came true. With a team from Belize and from the SLU School of Education, we wrote the Belizean Inclusive Studies program. This certificate program is a first in Belize, and it introduces inclusive practices. She is transforming a whole country with the knowledge she's gained from St. Louis University. And her actions exemplify the ideals set forth in the mission of our school. Congratulations, Alice. So just one last time, would all four of the award winners please rise so we can take a quick look at you and honor you. At this time, we would like to do a very difficult task, and that is to acknowledge and say thank you and goodbye to Dr. Merlene Gilb as she prepares to retire. We're still angry and bitter, but we're going to let you go. Please welcome Dr. Catherine Mitchell-Pierce, who will share a few words.
I won't be able to look at her. I am pleased to have this bittersweet opportunity to lead us in celebrating the legacy of our colleague, Dr. Merlene Gilb. Merlene completed her doctorate in educational leadership here at St. Louis University. Later, she returned to us as part of a large grant with the Saudi Arabian government, and then served in our teacher education program and as co-facilitator of a multi-year effort to engage in a radical redesign of that program. Merlene's experiences as a teacher, a school leader, a project coordinator, a program consultant, a curriculum developer, teacher educator, and innovator have shaped what she brought to us here in the School of Education. I practiced this. Her work in gifted education has impacted the individualized way that she approaches education for all learners. Her experience in Haiti is emblematic of her attention to the context and the ways that education must be grounded in and responsive to the needs and aspirations of those it serves. Her studies in the schools of Reggio Emilia, Italy, are reflected in the aesthetic stance she takes towards education, her deep respect for children, and her pursuit of equity and justice through education. Loris Malgucci, the founder of the Reggio Emilia approach, is known for a simple sentiment: nothing without joy. A student observed, "If you know Merline, you know she not only heeds this call, but makes it her mission to embed joy in all of her work, and she does so effortlessly." In an educational environment impacted by profound social and political forces, Merline provides a compass to guide us. She reminds us to find joy, to appreciate beauty in its many forms, to celebrate and uplift the children of our lives, and to advocate fiercely for the dignity of each individual in the communities we serve. Merline is leaving us with a true legacy that will remain long after her collection of slogan pins and art postcards are gone from her office. The work we've been engaged in alongside her is not finished. She is leaving us, however, to continue the story in our own voices, inspired by and prepared by the lessons she has modeled for us during her time in Fitzgerald Hall. Merline, we thank you for your sense of joy and your inspiration to dream new possibilities. Thank you.
We love you, Merline. All right, here's the moment we all have been waiting for. It's time. In a moment, but not yet, the graduating class of 2024 will come forward to be recognized. Will doctoral committee chairs and master's degree program directors come forward? Yeah, just a second. Candidates of the School of Education are being awarded degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, Specialist in Education, Master of Arts, and Bachelor of Arts. Graduates will be announced in the following order: doctoral, specialist, master, post-baccalaureate certificate, bachelor. We ask that our guests hold their applause as much as possible until all graduates have been recognized.
Announcing those for the Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Instruction. Madeline Bailey, Ready or Not, a narrative inquiry study of kindergarten readiness amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Instruction. Ha-Young Choi, the influence of international students' intercultural interactions on intercultural learning and intercultural competence. Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Instruction. Panayota Georgiou, Gamification in the L2 Greek classroom in Cyprus. Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Instruction. And now the Doctor of Philosophy in Education Policy and Equity. Amy Shelton. Segregated by Choice, examining the relationship between charter school type, charter school siting, and school and neighborhood segregation. Doctor of Philosophy in Education Policy and Equity. And now the Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. Rachel M. Caballero. Perceptions and reported experiences of special education teachers and school leaders regarding special education case management, a mixed method study. Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. Daniel A. Jones. Investigating a Midwestern state's public school principals' perceptions of their experiences with arts-based professional learning, understanding its utilization and impact on leadership behavior and with teacher professional learning. Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. And now, Doctor of Philosophy in Curriculum and Instruction. Sorry, that card shouldn't have been there. Marissa Moore. Study of school leaders' experiences regarding barriers and challenges to family-school community engagement in urban public schools. Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. Ashley E. Osborne. Exploring the implementation of the partnership principles through documents guiding instructional coaching at the secondary level. Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. Amanda J. Weisner-Groff. Middle school teachers' perceptions of principal practices which influence collective teacher efficacy in a highly efficacious high-achieving middle school. Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership. Now for the Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Solangel Leiva Alvarado. A study on the experience of Belizean college students on academic probation. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. William R. Bowie, Jr., Interim Leadership in Student Affairs, Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Ashley Donaldson Burley. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on undergraduate students' academic progress in higher education, a study of St. Louis University. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Catherine L. Devaney. Assessing undergraduate student perceptions of service quality in Jesuit higher education institutions, a mixed method study. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Stephanie A. Dugo. What are the outcomes of implementing a test-optional admission policy? The magnitude, makeup, and success. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. LaShawn M. Gibson. The counterfactual conflict of the campus racial crisis, a critical race quantitative inquiry. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Christina C. Fleener McGroarty. the lived experience of Jesuit baccalaureate nursing school graduates' meaning-making of their professional practice. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Andrew J. Molnar. Theory X, Theory Y, Leadership in Higher Education and Student Success. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Mirtha A. Peralta. Belizean College faculty members' attitudes toward junior college students with disabilities and accommodations. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. Shelley S. Vonderlanken. The transition to practice experience in a post-pandemic healthcare environment for Gen Z nursing graduates. Doctor of Philosophy in Higher Education Administration. And now the students for the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Beth A. Burrell. Catholic School Culture and Teacher Burnout, a study of Catholic secondary schools in Texas. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Kendra L. Burke. What is the relevance of social emotional learning for students with disabilities? Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Laura D. Kane. Perceptions of Leaders in Catholic Microschools, a study of the opportunities and challenges moving from a parish school to a microschool. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Jackie M. Cook. Perceptions of Leaders in Catholic Microschools, a study of the opportunities and challenges moving from a parish school to a microschool. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Owen M. DeBeck. Current practices and perceived needs of Catholic school leaders related to high-quality mentoring programs. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Samantha A. Dane. What is the relevance of social emotional learning for students with learning disabilities? Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. William E. Darter. What is the relevance of social emotional learning for students with disabilities? Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Jonathan Casey Deloach. An investigation of how school leaders equitably engage families in the school community. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Erica J. Edwards. An investigation of how school leaders equitably engage families in the school community. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Christy L. Ferris. An investigation of how school leaders equitably engage families in the school community. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Cassie E. Fogel. Equity-focused school funding. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Juliana M. Gates, current practices and perceived needs of Catholic school leaders related to high-quality mentoring programs. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Todd B. Gungle, Perceptions of Leaders in Catholic Microschools, a study of the opportunities and challenges moving from a parish school to a microschool. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Thomas E. Hadfield. An investigation of principal perceptions of the preparation and professional training needed to build their capacity as instructional leaders. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Michelle L. Hartman, a policy analysis of parental leave policies in Catholic secondary schools. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Katie A. Helfer, current practices and perceived needs of Catholic school leaders related to high-quality mentoring programs. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Guillermo Hernandez Cheng, the effects of COVID-19 on teacher departures in Catholic schools. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Susan E. Hill, an investigation of principal perceptions on the preparation and professional training needed to build their capacity as instructional leaders. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. M.M.E. Ituen, an investigation of principal perceptions of the preparation and professional training needed to build their capacity as instructional leaders. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Rebecca E. Valentino Kalin, analysis of national standards and benchmarks for effective Catholic elementary and secondary schools, operational vitality, Standard 10, an ethnographic case study. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Dominic A. Key, a policy analysis of parental leave policies in Catholic secondary schools. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Christina B. Mantich, the integration of faith in the science classrooms of Catholic schools in the Midwest. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Jordan H. McGahee, an investigation of the comparison of principal perceived strategies for teacher retention and effective research-based strategies for teacher retention. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Andrew L. Miller, an investigation of the comparison of principal perceived strategies for teacher retention and effective research-based strategies for teacher retention. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Tricia F. Molnar, a study of educator and administrator perspectives on inclusive education in Catholic schools, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Angela T. Moret. Current practices and perceived needs of Catholic school leaders related to high-quality mentoring programs, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Anthony M. Neipert, an investigation of the comparison of principal perceived strategies for teacher retention and effective research-based strategies for teacher retention, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Kathleen O. O'Sullivan, a policy analysis of parental leave policies in Catholic secondary schools, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Dustin A. Pearson, Equity-Focused School Funding, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Lori Racine, a study of educator and administrator perspectives on inclusive education in Catholic schools, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Tammy C. Roman, the integration of faith in the science classrooms of Catholic schools in the Midwest, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Thomas G. Romano, Catholic School Culture and Teacher Burnout, a study of Catholic secondary schools in Texas, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Andrew V. Shapercutter, the integration of faith in the science classrooms of Catholic schools in the Midwest, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Matthew Showman, Equity-Focused School Funding, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Carrie L. Tomk, an investigation of principal perceptions on the preparation and professional training needed to build their capacity as instructional leaders, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Paul P. Trammell, elementary principals' perceptions of barriers and behaviors that influence school culture, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Marlene V. Traub, Principal Perceived Strategies to Support Teacher Retention Throughout a Teacher's Career, Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Matthew K. Tucker, Analysis of National Standards and Benchmarks for Effective Catholic Elementary and Secondary Schools Operational Vitality, Standard 10, an ethnographic case study. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Kathy Vandegrift, Principal Perceived Strategies to Support Teacher Retention Throughout the Teacher's Career. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Erica C. Van Ness, what is the relevance of social emotional learning for students with disabilities? Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Shelley K. Woodworth, Principal Perceived Strategies to Support Teacher Retention Throughout the Teacher's Career. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. Should be white cards. Okay.
And now for the candidates of Master of Arts in Educational Leadership. Kaylin R. Breitbach. Sarah Stevenson Draper. Keela M. Harris. William M. Saber. And now for the candidates of Master of Arts in Higher Education and Student Affairs Administration. Cordell R. Billups. Maxwell J. Medley. Bryce C. Pettiford. Isabella R. Principe. Ahmad J. Wallace. And now for the candidates of Master of Arts in Teaching. Andrew M. Ficken. Elizabeth A. Hansen. John P. Higgins. Patricia A. House. Juliet S. Hughes. Claire E. Lambert. Yushin Lee. Lauren Patrick. Hailey J. Robinson. Jana C. Timpey. Megan E. Tinkham. Christina M. Zazo. And now for the candidates of Bachelor of Arts in Education. Mackenzie J. Axford, summa cum laude. Nicole S. Bean. Jesse M. Blaschuk, cum laude. Molly G. Craig, summa cum laude. Joshua A. G. DeClaro, cum laude. Kelly E. Edwards, magna cum laude. Drew T. Gillum, cum laude. Matthew James. Jordan C. Martinez, cum laude. Patrick McGinnis. Abigail K. McNeil, summa cum laude. Catherine T. Murphy, summa cum laude. Paige A. Payne, summa cum laude. M.J. Poss, magna cum laude. Adriana Salume, magna cum laude. Emily R. Slocum, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Sodetz, cum laude. Ethan M. Stasiak, magna cum laude. Shalala A. Vaughn, magna cum laude. Alexander C. Veneman, summa cum laude. Anna Karen Bia. Rainey E. White, cum laude. Maeve A. Wolf, cum laude. Jenna M. Woods, summa cum laude. Samantha G. Zack, summa cum laude. Let's take a moment and give all our graduates a round of applause.
While our last graduates are making their way to the seats, can you give them one last gigantic round of applause, please? We're almost there. It's 10:47 a.m. We did great. Everything we were nervous about, everything went great. Nice work, everyone. I'd like to take a moment to once again thank all of you who have supported our graduates, all of your people, your families and friends, all of them. Most students would say for sure that you all succeeded in your studies because of support from your family and friends, from your parents and your partners, from your children and other family members. I would ask now that all of the graduates please show your appreciation for those who have been of greatest support to you with a round of applause. We have so much to be grateful for this year. You might not know this, but St. Louis University first began educating teachers in 1925. This means, of course, that our SLU School of Education will be celebrating 100 years of educating educators throughout the upcoming school year. As we approach our centennial celebration, thank you, I should have paused for that. As we approach our centennial celebration, I want to recognize the history of which you are now a part. You are joining an alumni network of more than 8,000 SLU educators across the world. Graduates, if you are a first-generation college student, I ask that you stand and remain standing, just for a minute. Please stay standing. Now, graduates, if you have a relative who is a St. Louis University alum, would you also mind standing up? Okay. Finally, if you are the first graduate in your family to earn a SLU degree, would you join your fellow graduates and stand up? Let's give the graduates a big round of applause. All right, graduates, I'll leave you alone now. You may all be seated. I am very lucky each day to have the opportunity to pursue the Jesuit mission of St. Louis University alongside this dedicated group of faculty and staff of the School of Education. The faculty have served as mentors, as advisors, as teachers, as supporters, as advocates, and as role models for our students. And of course, none of this work would be possible without our dedicated School of Education staff. The small but powerful School of Education staff go above and beyond the call to serve the students, support the faculty, engage in mission-based community work, and make the School of Education stronger each day. Please join me in showing your appreciation for the faculty and staff of the School of Education. In particular, I would like to call out the efforts of Julie King, our dedicated SOE team member. All right, we'll go first. You'll have to do it again. Hang on for a second. Our dedicated SOE team member who coordinates this entire ceremony each and every year. There is one reason that this event runs so well and seems so effortless, and it is because of Julie's tireless efforts and her commitment to our community and her commitment to making this day beautiful for the graduates. Let's thank Julie King. Finally, graduates of the SOE, please know that you will always have a home here in Fitzgerald Hall and in the School of Education. I am proud, and I hope you are too, to be a Billiken. I'm going to end these remarks with one final question, one that I expect is familiar to most of you. You've been asked this whenever you told anyone you were going to SLU, you were working at SLU, you had any connection to SLU, and I'm sure you've been asked at one time or another, what in the world is a Billiken? So I get to answer this, and I love to answer this. My answer is that a Billiken is a mythical creature that represents things as they ought to be. Things as they ought to be. As graduates of a Jesuit institution, you are now called to do your part to make this world a better place, as it ought to be. As Jesuits, as you go forward, we call for you to live out our Jesuit vision. This means three things. Seek the divine in all things, in all peoples, in all cultures, in all areas of study and learning. Strive to make a difference in your community and in the world. And finally, go out into the world and live your lives as people for and with others. When all are working for and with each other, we build a more just and humane world. Once again, congratulations.
Please join me in recognizing Doctors Catherine Pierce and John James, our readers. Our faculty marshals, Dr. Krista Jackson, Dr. Joseph Nichols, Dr. Christy Baker Patterson, Dr. Jonathan Turk, Dr. Jamie Wellborn, Dr. Robert Vogelaar. Last but not least, John Heck, our bagpiper. All right, now it's time to party. So we request that family and guests remain seated until the stage party, faculty, and graduates have exited the building. In the beginning of our ceremony, I made an announcement about our relocation of the reception. Just a reminder, we are now going to the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering building, which is located just a few steps away in the center of the campus, directly across from Tegler Hall and Fitzgerald Hall, right across from those two buildings. Father Ronnie O'Dwyer will now offer the benediction. Please rise.
And so let us pray. Lord our God, you have showered these graduates with so many good gifts. May their gratitude for these talents be expressed in a commitment to crafting a world as it ought to be. Inspire these graduates, Lord, with a vision that looks to the peripheries of schools and schooling. A vision focused on breaking down the barriers of marginalization, exclusion, ignorance, and racism. For in this vision, Lord, there is indeed a great deal of hope. There is courage that comes from the conviction that what they do changes lives. And so strengthen them, Lord, with a spirit of courage, the courage to lose control, the courage to feel useless, the courage to listen and to ask questions, the courage to receive, the courage to allow their hearts to break, the courage to fall in love, the courage to get ruined for life, and the courage to make a friend. And may the blessing of God, who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, come upon us and remain with us forever. And in the timeless words of St. Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuits, ete omnia inflammate, go, set the world on fire.